Let's take you next to Quebec and the dairy industry. Farmers anxiously awaiting what the tariffs could mean for them. They've expressed concerns that they could add costs, add to the purchase price, for example, of new machinery and equipment. And that includes the farmers in St-Blaise-sur-Richelieu. That's in Quebec. That's in the Montérégie area, about 45 minutes south of Montreal. And that is where Quebec Oduro has traveled. And look at this. And the bovine backdrop to boot. Quebec, fantastic. Tell us what you're hearing from the farmers running that operation and what you're hearing broadly within the dairy industry in Quebec.
So, Heather, what I'm hearing from farmers is that when we talk about agri-food and we talk about farming, the relationship between Canada and the USA is the largest partnership in the world. So you can imagine that these tariffs have a huge impact. I spoke to some farmers that don't work at this farm who told me that they are planning to take in the cost of that 25% tariff. The thing is that it's not going to be an easy task to do that when everything that you do has a 25% tariff on it. Right? So in terms of the farm that I'm at right now, when I spoke to the owner, Marcus, he told me that in terms of what he produces here, there is going to be some impact, but not as much as the machinery and stuff that he uses. So in here, he has 80 cows in this barn that I'm at right now. So they're all lined up here. I know you can see all the cows. There's no shortage of cows in here. In this farm, there are 160 cows. Where the costs come from is from stuff like this. So this is part of the milking system. They bring the milker around, they milk the cows. It goes through a system like this and then goes into the milk tank. To maintain that machine, it costs a lot of money. So that's one of the things that is going to be affecting Marcus when he has to pay extra money because of the tariffs. When we look at the motors in some of the machinery that he used, that's another thing. And just the other day, Marcus told me that he bought tires for a tractor, brand new tires, and that was $13,000 already. And this is before the tariffs. And yearly, he spends around $30,000 minimum, could go up to $50,000, but depending on the year, it could even exceed $50,000. Add a 25% tariff on that, and then his costs are just skyrocketing. But I want to bring Marcus in here so we can hear more about what's going on in the industry. Marcus, how is this going to affect you personally, first off?
Well, to produce the feed, we need fertilizer and seed. Most of the seed's produced in the United States, and some of the fertilizer comes from the States as well. And we export some fertilizer as Canadians too. So it's going to be both ways that's going to be affected. And then the vegetable producers and the grain producers are going to be affected a lot. I mean, just the export of the grain sector is $17 billion a year for Canada. And the canola sector by itself is about 8.6 billion. And you have to consider that the canola goes into fuel, goes into oil, and some of that stuff, like the canola oil, comes back here. So if we have a counter tariff, that's going to affect twice as much as the normal tariff, if you want.
How detrimental are the tariffs to the Quebec farming industry, but Canada as a whole? You use some figures there. What are we looking at?
Well, you know, we're going to postpone some investments as farmers because we're going to support the tariffs instead of investing into improving our businesses.
And then there are talks about a reprieve for the farming industry. We don't have details on that just yet, but there are talks about that. How important would that be?
Well, that's important for sure. We hope they retrieve all the tariffs, but at least if we can retrieve it on some key products that we use a lot, that'd be great. But you know, the car business got a month of relief now. What's going to happen for us, we don't know. But it's uncertainty, and the uncertainty isn't good for any business because you don't know where you're going on short term.
Thank you very much, Marcus.
Thank you.
So as you can hear there, Heather, once again, the uncertainty is what's bothering people. I spoke to other farmers who have had the same message. They don't really know how to prepare because they don't even know what's really coming. Do they prepare for the tariffs? Do they not prepare? Do they prepare for 25%? Do they prepare for less? So there's a lot of uncertainty there. But as you heard from Marcus, he's hoping that the tariffs get abolished completely, or the reprieve actually helps them be able to invest in their production, in their products, rather than have to accommodate costs for tariffs. Heather?
Kubina, the picture for sure, and then those dairy farmers likely to be at the center of future discussions, the renegotiation, the review of CUSMA, the USMCA, over supply management, and all of those things there in Quebec that are long-standing trade issues. Thank you very much for that reporting, Kubina, in St-Blaise-sur-Richelieu in Quebec this morning.